Peace, Internet. It's me, Vonnie. Welcome back to the channel. I know this is the most wrinkly shirt I've ever worn on YouTube. It's killing me. Today, I wanted to talk to you guys about CNA school and the fact that I just had my very first CNA interview. What is a CNA? It is a certified nursing assistant. That's what I'm in school for right now. It's like an 8-week course or something like that. It was supposed to be 6 weeks, and then there was scheduling stuff going on. So now I'm in it from June to the end, or to the beginning of August, which is whatever, but that's what I'm doing right now. I'm learning skills like helping with ADLs, which are activities of daily living, mainly for seniors, people who are living in nursing homes. In class, I'm learning how to use a gait belt, wrap it around your patient's, stomach area, and you tighten it up, and then you hold it by the sides and help them stand up. That's you could call that transferring somebody from, like the bed over to the wheelchair. I've learned how to collect urine samples from a colostomy bag. I believe it's a colostomy bag. I've learned, other skills like, taking radials or taking your blood, not pressure, but your beats per minute. So there's just a lot of different skills that we're learning. I've learned how to clean a Foley catheter. I've learned how to properly clean a female who has a embedded catheter, where you clean the catheter and you also clean, like the vaginal area. I've learned how to do it properly on a doll. And it's just good that I'm learning all of these skills, because ultimately I'm going to be a nurse, and being comfortable with doing skills and being involved with people and all of that. This is helping me get the building blocks to get to where I want to go. Ultimately, I'm in pre-nursing, and I never needed to be a CNA. I never needed to be in CNA school, but I chose to be in CNA school because I believed it made sense to want to become a nursing assistant before becoming a nurse. So especially, I didn't want to wait 2 years or however long it takes to become a nurse to start to work in the healthcare field in a clinical setting. I wanted to know right now what even is this, before I say I want to be a nurse. Meanwhile, I've never worn scrubs, I've never dealt with a patient, I've never been in the hospital except for if I have a boo-boo, like that's, that didn't make a lot of sense to me. So Peace, Internet. It's me, Vonnie. Oh, sorry. I just a recording of TikTok I just posted, which is why you guys should check out Davon Raymond on TikTok, because I make videos over there too. So what was I even saying that TikTok threw me off? What was I even saying? CNA school is awesome, and it's halfway through, and I wish that it was over, because I just had my first CNA interview at a long-term care facility. This place was nice based on what I've only been in one building that was a long-term care facility in my entire life, I'm pretty sure. Well, I was a Cub Scout, and we did caroling at nursing homes, so maybe this isn't the first time I've been in a nursing home ever. But we're talking 20 years ago, so I can't really remember those details. But yeah, I had my first interview. It actually happened rather quickly. I knew about this place because half of my classmates in CNA school were talking about either already working there or doing their orientation soon at this long-term care nursing facility. And I'm like, okay, well, like, what about me? So I called them up, the facility, and I said, hey, this is what's up. This is my class. I'm halfway through, blah, blah, blah. Here's my plan. And they said, let's interview you tomorrow, which was yesterday. So I'm like, okay. I do the interview. I show up. First, the area in the front of the building, nice. It's kept by groundskeepers. There's nice chairs. The building looks nice and attractive. This long-term care facility also doubles, like, within the building. They have like a chapel, I think it's called. So it's like a Catholic, long-term care facility, basically, so it's pretty cool. And as a Christian, I can appreciate that. So I go in, I sit down, the lady on the front desk says my interviewer's coming. I am doing my interview with the first woman. She's talking to me, intense. She's going through her list of questions. When do you use a Hoyer lift by yourself or a mechanical lift by yourself? The answer, it's a trick question. You never use a Hoyer lift by yourself. You never use a mechanical lift by yourself. You do not do it. You always get help from somebody else, either another CNA or help from a nurse. So you don't do it. And I'm pretty sure you can ask another CNA, so there's 2 of you. But yeah, you don't use a Hoyer lift by yourself. She's going through these other questions. Why am I interested in healthcare, and what led me to here, and why am I interested in this particular location? All of those types of questions. During my interview, she didn't even ask me, where do you see yourself in 5 years? That was the question I was expecting to get. Never got that. And that's okay, because I kind of answered it in a generic way, in a general way. But anyway, so I'm chatting with the first woman. We're doing the intensive interview questions and all that. Then when we finish up, in the same office that we're doing the interview questions in, there's another woman who's present for the interview at her desk, not really looking and paying attention, probably paying attention, but not looking at me. So basically, I get a tour by the second lady. When I finish the first lady, then she goes, hey, so-and-so, will you give Devon an interview or a tour of the facility? And then she does. And she's taking me to the employee lunchroom. She's taking me to the courtyard where the residents can, sit outside if they choose, or just look out the window and look at how beautiful it is, and it really was kept very nice, looked very beautiful. Aside from that, we walked down the different halls. She showed me, this floor is this, and it was just a cool experience to walk around. It looked nice. The administration wing is this way, whatever is that way. And of course, I'm not going to remember it all because it all happened so quickly. But it was really cool. Honestly, I really enjoyed the tour. And when the tour finished up, she brought me to the HR room where I spoke with the third woman of the day, the third boss person in charge, administration person, but she was for HR. And I'm speaking with her, and we're filling out paperwork, and we're talking about, what it would look like if I were to work there. And she asked me a couple of questions as far as availability, and obviously I'm going to be a full-time pre-nursing student, so I'm not going to be able to work normal hours all the time, 5 days a week. That's not going to be something I can do. So it was just, we were talking about availability and all of that. So I let her know all of what I had to say, and she was like, okay, gotcha. Well, keep your eyes peeled for an email from me. And I thought, okay, cool. And then I didn't check my email. Well, actually, I did check my email and I didn't see anything because my email is a messy box of crap. So what happened was she emailed me as I was walking out the door and walking back to my car. She emailed me immediately with a job offer, and I didn't notice. You know why? Because I was just scrolling through my mess of emails and I guess I just didn't see it. But I went on with my day thinking, I don't know what today is going to bring. I did my interview. Did I get hired? Did I not? What's going to happen? I don't know. And then I checked at midnight, and I saw that she had emailed at 11 a.m. So just after the interview had ended, and it was sitting right there. So I guess just the jitters got to me and I couldn't see what was plainly in front of my face, which I guess happens to the best of us. Anyway, so CNA school is halfway through. It's almost done. We're going through a lot of different skills. Can't wait to do more skills and get more practice under my belt so I can be a proper CNA when I have my certification. Bam, when I have the certification, then I'll be able to bring it to my new job as a CNA in a long-term care facility. This is crazy to me because 3 months ago, I was not thinking about this. 2 months ago, I was not thinking or believing that it was going to happen in any real short amount of time. Last month, I was really just thinking, man, I really need school to start, because this, I don't know, like, it's going to be tough for me to get a job in healthcare. And then here I am, job offer in healthcare, halfway through CNA school. Things are working out. I don't know why, but they are. So I'm happy about that. So yeah, it's just, life is crazy. And if you put effort in, you may get nothing, but you may get something. And I think that's really what it's about. I saw this video, to wrap up this video, I saw this video of this person talking about, you know, God will always provide, you don't have to worry. And it was like a young person. I do not like hearing testimonials from certain personalities, because I feel as if though they're being, I don't know exactly, but certain personalities, I feel like I can't trust what they're saying. And this young buck was talking about how you can just quit your job and sit there, and God is going to pay for your bills. You don't have to worry. Just having faith in God will allow you to succeed and all that stuff. Like, you'll be okay. You don't have to worry about the stress of a job and bills. God will always provide. God's provision is always there for his children. And while I believe the provision is there, I remember the story from the Bible, and I don't remember every last detail at all, but there's a story of this, like, it's either a rich man or a king who had 3 sons, and he gave money to all 3 sons, and the 3 sons had all did something different with the money. One of the sons, I think he gave like a different amount of money to each of them. Like a bigger amount of money to the first brother, a smaller amount of money to the second brother, and the smallest amount of money to the third. And the person who had the most money, they invested it. I think they doubled the money or something like that. And then maybe a year later, however much later, when the dad asked what you did with the money, and he shows that he doubled it and invested it, he was proud, and then he gave him more. And the second son, who got less money, did the same thing. They invested it and got more money from the original money that the father had given them. So the third brother, who got the least amount of money, thought, well, I don't want to lose it, so he buries it in the ground, and he just keeps it there, not investing, not doing anything, just burying it and keeping it there. That's not going to help the money appreciate. That just is going to have it sit in the dirt. So later, when the father asks, you know, what did you do with the money? And he was disappointed to see that the third son didn't invest it. He just kept it. He just kept it and didn't do anything with it. So what the dad did was take the money back. He took the money back from him because you squandered the gift that I gave you. You didn't do anything with it. So when I hear this young buck on TikTok talking about you can just do nothing and things will work out for you, I think he's got the wrong idea. I think God does want you to make efforts, and maybe you'll bump into some boundaries for things that aren't meant for you. Myself, I tried to get into the military, and the military in every way, shape, and form told me it's not going to happen, bud. But what I got out of it was that I wanted to do aeromedic when I first thought I was going to be in the Air Force. And that was something that I didn't even initially think I wanted to do, but the recruiter told me, I think you'd be good for aeromedic. So I just kind of ran with that, and I kept moving on with the idea of being a medic. And though I could have gone the path of EMT school and all of that, literally I did apply to go, it just lined up better for me to go to nursing school and for pre-nursing, which is where I'm at now. So I think had I just applied for the military, it didn't work, then I just sat there and waited for God to provide, I think I would have had nothing happen and probably been more miserable in my life for having, you know, nothing to work towards. And that may be a personality thing, but I think that's just the truth, is that, you know, you discover more about yourself when you try, and I think God wants you to try, because then he has something to work with. You know, he has something to support or deny. He has something to, you know, like keep boundaries so you can't get in, or he has an opportunity, he has a reason to open the door for you because you're making efforts in an area. I know that there's a whole difference between Protestants and Catholicism and different types of Christians and all that, when it comes to acts, when it comes to doing things to garner God's love. This is not doing something, this is not an act to get the love of God. This is actively living your life while considering God throughout, you know? That is to say that you are really thinking that God has his hand in everything. So when you do something, he's going to be there to allow it or to deny it, you know? And that could be good or bad, but we believe in God. Everything is good about God, so we're going to think that he's going to allow opportunities in our lives. He's going to open doors that we couldn't open ourselves, because he sees the path for us and he sees that we are marching. I don't think he is going to provide something for you when you're sitting plainly still. Now, maybe in very specific situations for certain people, that is what you need to do, given whatever the momentum and trajectory it is for your particular life. But I think for the average Joe, Jimmy, Jane, you have to make efforts towards something. You have to do something, and God will work with you. But to do absolutely nothing, to say, God, you gave me this life and I'm going to do nothing with it. It's just kind of like, all right, bud, you know, like, I'm not going to bless you for sitting on your ass. I don't think so. Of course, I'm not God, so I can't really say, but I don't think that's how that would work personally. So I think making efforts and keeping your eyes, you know, out of sin, and really just thinking, what can I do that's going to be best for me, that really works for me, and hopefully God will support it as I pursue. And that's really all there is to it as a Christian. So thank you guys so much for watching and supporting and dealing with my wrinkly shirt. I really appreciate you guys for watching and listening, and I hope that you subscribe so you can check out the next video that I end up making. Maybe it won't necessarily be about God and CNA and CNA interviews and CNA school, but maybe it'll be about something else. There's more I want to talk to you guys about, but you'll have to check out the next video in order to see it. Thank you guys so much for watching. Until the next time, peace.